Okay, it's me, Geordie Pete Redding, on another edition of Hollywood Balls. And what a Hollywood Balls it is every now and then, as you know, we feature a legend. So it's time to activate my fanboy mode. My next guest was the pioneer of the new romantic era, monster hits such as Cut a Long Story Short, True, Gold, and Through the Barricades. Isn't it obvious? See what I did there? That'll become apparent. It's Tony Hadley. Welcome to Hollywood Balls.
Hello, mate. Good to see you. It's a legend or a legend. We're not sure.
It could be both, but I'll go with legend. Before we have our walk down memory lane, which I always love to do, tell us, we've just been chatting a little bit off air, but tell us about what you're up to currently.
Well, currently, I mean, for most people, it's the same as everybody. I mean, UK's locked down. Homeschooling. I have to say my wife Ali's doing most of the homeschooling well, she's just turned 9 there, Genevieve. Zara's self-contained, so she's on the video computer all the time. It's now half term, so yes, no teaching this week. But the funny thing is that, I mean, I went to a grammar school. I went to a really good school, but I got a maths question wrong the other day. It's like, what? Some of the stuff they're doing is incredible. So really, we're just trying to be really good. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So we're nearly there. I mean, the vaccination rollout in the UK, as you know, is we just hit 15 million yesterday. Yeah, and so it's really, we're at home, homeschooling, housework, doing what everybody else does. Really, it's no different. We don't live in a special bubble, but it's. We're lucky where we live. We live in Buckinghamshire, and it's beautiful, and we can walk out to green fields. But there's people living in some pretty tense conditions, and it's tough. It's tough for people mentally, physically. But we're nearly there. We're nearly there.
Good stuff. Now, we've already confirmed your ledge status, but I've got to ask you this. I just picked up on this a few weeks back, and it's awesome. Tell us a little bit about Singapore, and in particular, a certain Mohammed Shalahan in Singapore, because this just blew me away. Absolutely fantastic. I'll set the scene for you, Tony. This Mohammed, he won a contest in Singapore. That's all I'm going to say. What happened?
Well, what happened was I got manager Matt got an email from Mohammed. He then sent it on to me, and Mohammed said, "Look, I don't know if there's anything you can do about it, but I've been on this particular radio station, and it's one of those ones you have to identify all the different voices, which is really difficult. I mean, really difficult." And Mohammed got them all right. Weeks and weeks and weeks this went on for, and it was a big prize money, a lot of money, gifts, everything else. Anyway, so he basically said he didn't pronounce my name correctly.
No.
So he sent me a recording. This is what happened. So he sent me a recording of it and said, "Look, I think I pronounced it pretty correctly. I'm from Singapore. I've got an accent." But so I listened to it and I said, yeah, that's Tony Hadley with a bit of an accent. So I then sent him a video saying, "Mohammed, as far as I'm concerned, you pronounced my name correctly. And if you want to use this video in any way to convince the radio station to change their opinion, then absolutely fine. I think you should have won it. You should have won it, mate." All of a sudden, he sent it to the radio station. It's then got out on the internet, on the wonderful world of the internet, and it's gone completely global. I've got CNN on the phone. I've got the BBC. I've got people in Australia all talking about this chap, Mohammed. Anyway, the radio station did give him his prize money, which was fantastic, really happy. And then ironically, I didn't realize the radio station were the sponsors of our show in Singapore.
No way.
So, and as it happens, the show got cancelled, not because of that, just because of COVID and lockdown. And then we snuck into Japan, Australia, America, and then literally got back. This was March, just before they locked down. So we will be going to Singapore, and the radio station will be the promoter of the show. But so we said to Mohammed, "Listen, bring your wife and family, come to the show, and we'll love to see you. But so it was a nice happy ending, but it went global. It was very, very strange.
And so it should, Tony. I mean, it's, you know, it's these sort of stories that people they grasp onto currently at the moment, which is fantastic. So when you do go there, will you be hearing the latest single? I just listened to it, you know. I know it's been out a while, but it's just fantastic to hear that unmistakable voice again, isn't it?
Oh, what, the obvious?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah. Yeah, it was 2 songs recorded before we locked down completely, which was obvious, and Because of You. Because of You was going to be released, well, sort of round about now, probably before. But we've just decided we're going to wait until the whole thing opens up, and then we'll get back to recording the album and release the next single. We just wanted to release Obvious because it's a song about, you know, you and me meant to be together forever. It's a love kind of jumping around, you know, let's get it on sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the video that accompanied it, if you watch that, it kind of, you know, sort of reinforces that lyric. And my daughter Zara, literally, we recorded just outside in the courtyard here. And because she's a really good photographer, she's won a couple of competitions. And so she was the director of video, sort of, you know, filming me. And it was brilliant. And then I sent it to my mate, Paul Green. He got a load of library footage of people, you know, clubbing and everything else. And we put it together. It cost 500 quid. Cheapest video I've ever done.
And but no, people would never know unless they're listening to this show, of course. Brilliant stuff. Got to say, with it being Hollywood Balls, and we touched on that the last time you and I spoke, me being a Geordie and you being an avid gooner, I was going to keep the football banter to a minimum because it's not much fun being a Geordie at the moment. And I was going to say Arsenal isn't brilliant, but they seem to be improving. But it's not a great season for either of us, is it really?
Not really. I was talking to someone the other day about Arsenal, and I have to talk to Brian Hornsby, who manages the X11 celebrity team, who used to play for the Arsenal. And you're never fully confident in the team. And we had a great result. It was yesterday. I think it was yesterday, 4-2, which was brilliant. But you don't feel that sense of confidence. You know, there was a time when they used to go on and you knew that they would really battle and they would scrape a win come, you know, high or whatever. High. But sometimes it just don't seem to have the heart in the team. And it's a bit of a worry. Some of the younger players, though, I have to say, are seem to be kind of grasping the nettle and being a bit more enthusiastic. I don't know, and it must be difficult for the players as well because there's no audience there. There are no fans. You know, I watched the rugby at the weekend as well, and England and Italy, and you're thinking, where are the fans? It's tough. So that backing that they normally have isn't there. But no, they're not going. They're not having the best season on the planet, that's for sure. Neither are you guys.
Yeah, the less said about us, the better. So we'll move on to something that we're both comfortable with. Music. Now, for folk that think you can just arrive on the scene through your label and release the first track, I was reading up again on you guys. There's a lot of hard yards in there, Tony, isn't there? In the build-up, like to cut a long story short, for instance, It sounded like tons of rehearsals. There were showcases, auditions. There was a lot before. You know, what we hear as fans is that, yeah, we've got the deal and there's the first single. But all of that work in between really mounts up, right?
I think, for some reason, I think a lot of people just think that you know, the minute you release that record or you know, when you were on Top of the Pops or on TV or YouTube or whatever, you know, that's it. You just instantly arrived. And there's a lot of hard work. There's, you know, we were a school band. We were the Roots. We were like an R&B covers band. We were called The Cut. And then the Makers, we were like a power pop Generation X band during that punk period. Then Martin finally joined us when we became Gentry, which was like a pop funk band. I mean, it was a bit, I'm not sure it was our best period. And then we didn't have a name, and then we nearly broke up, to be honest. Then the whole scene started to change, discovered the synthesizer and everything else. Then you had bands like Ultravox with Systems of Romance, a Human League, doing great gigs in '77, all synth-based. So the whole thing was changing, and we discovered that, became Spandau Ballet. big part of the whole London scene, and Bob's Your Living Uncle, we've signed a record deal. But yeah, I mean, we played every club and pub and, you know, oh, £30 to play the lager. Oh, thanks a lot, mate. Cheers, you know. It's, you know, and we were lucky if we got that. So no, we paid our dues.
Yeah.
And most artists and most bands do. You have to work really hard to get to that point. And we were lucky enough with Story. It went top 5, which was, wow, okay. Didn't expect that one. But thanks very much.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
83 saw the release of the album True, and of course the title track becoming your first #1. It's written that this album gave you a slicker pop sound. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, I mean, the band could have gone really one of two ways. We went down that sort of, by the time we hit the True album, that kind of almost sort of kind of Blue-Eyed Soul kind of stuff. And it was very, very pop. Where if you look at, to cut a long story short, on the early Confused and that whole synth-based thing with Journeys to Glory, we could very much have gone down the Depeche Mode mode. And you know, look, they're still going. They're still incredibly successful. Great bunch of guys as well, and I love their stuff. So we could have gone either way, but we sort of wanted to develop and change. And you know, Steve Norman brought in percussion and saxophone. That very, very much influenced the writing. You know, I love True, I love Gold, Only When You Leave, Lifeline, great pop songs, but I do like that kind of 4 on the floor sort of synth-based stuff as well. But, you know, for us, #1, 21 countries around the world, thanks very much. It's sort of, as I always say, it went from a Cortina pickup to a Learjet. And it's kind of funny because I was pretty much still living at home. I remember getting picked up and, you know, with a big limo and stuff, and everyone coming out. Oh, Taron's doing well, isn't he? Oh,
Brilliant.
It's nice, you know, and I think it's nice for other people. All my mates are still my mates to this day, seeing that I've been pretty successful. But you know, it's been it's been up and down. I tell you, I've played my dues several times over.
Researching questions for today, and today was obviously a special one for me, being such a big fan. I love that your music brings back certain memories. So my memory is Christmas disco. First kiss in the tune for me with Tracy Jackson, who I do remember, by the way. I hope she's listening. And it was to Only When You Leave. Yours, which I read about, interestingly, I know the wife's present, so I'll keep it swift, was Julie Lodge. Just think, though, Tony, all joking aside, of how many memories that you sparked globally.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when you meet people because, you know, music's not just about, it is, you know, it's a sing along and everything, but it triggers memories. I mean, you know, you hear a song and it takes you instantly back to the 70s or whatever, to a certain situation with a girl, with your mates. And I think that's what artists always should bear in mind. I mean, I've seen artists that will come on stage and almost refuse to do any of the hits. Not many, but I've seen it a few times, and it's like, what? You're crazy. Because it's as much as part of your fans' life as well. You know, they had their first kiss to that, their first slow dance, you know, Love, whatever. You know, Gold is quite an anthemic song that's got people through. I get letters saying that got me through a bad period. Through the Barricades, probably the most emotional song I think we'd ever recorded. And so these are little timelines for people's lives, and you should never deny that. And I mean, mind you, sometimes I get a tone, you know what I mean? Oh, thanks for True, mate, because I got I went, whoa. Private life's your private life.
Too much info. As you touched on it briefly about nearly breaking up, but all good things do come to an end. So I'm going to touch on it briefly. My thoughts are this: is simply that the singer, the voice, the man is the band, and no amount of spoof documentaries or replacement frontmen or detergent ads can change that, in my opinion.
I love the fact you put in the detergent ad. I put a disclaimer on that on the social media, on my social media. I said, look, let me be very, very clear. I have nothing to do with it. I'm not singing it, or I have nothing to do with it at all. I thought that the use of the song Gold on a bold advert was pretty disgraceful, actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty low, and certainly didn't endorse that. I wanted to make that very clear to people out there as well. Yeah, it's a weird one. Egos are funny things in bands, and if there was a clash between us in the band, it was always, to be honest, generally speaking, myself and Gary, and that pretty much continues to this day. We broke up a long time ago in, I think, 1990. It took nearly 20 years to get back together again.
Yeah.
It was never going to be the same, but it was a good period, and it was good to put that kind of angst and anger behind us. Roll on a few more years, 2014, 2015, the film So Was the Western World. Very honest, very, very honest film, I thought. And we had another great tour. And then the wheels came off again, and certain things happened. They embarked on a course that just, I said before, they know what they did. I think it's sad for the fans. And I know some of the fans go, oh, Tone's got a big ego. No, I haven't got an ego actually at all. But it was nothing to do with me. I was put in a position where I had no option but to resign, and resign for good. And people, often asking, are you going to get back together again? And the answer to that is definitely no. It's sad for me, sad for the fans, but you've got to be happy in life. And when your supposed mates do something that could really affect your life and was affecting my life, you've just got to call a halt to it. And so that was it. So very sadly, I resigned. Yeah.
Indeed. Now, I've been fortunate enough to see you in Dubai. So I've got to ask, you mentioned Singapore before. Is there any plan that we can catch up together in my city maybe in the future?
Mate, as soon as this is over, trust me, I've been hoovering, cleaning, homeschooling, and everything else to get back to doing. We have a Zoom every Tuesday. Myself and called them the Fabulous TH Band and my crew. We have a Zoom every Tuesday evening. We have a little glass of wine and toast each other. And and the band are great. They're in great spirits, actually, remarkably so. We just want to get back to doing what we love. And it's very difficult because when you're used to going on stage all the time and, in front of audiences and everything, you get these massive highs and the adrenaline rush and everything else. And we haven't had that for a long time. And you realize how you miss that nervousness before you go on stage and stuff like that. And that euphoric feeling when you're on stage, you're singing away, and you feel it's a great feeling. And the flip side to that, it's been brilliant being at home, spending so much time at home with Al and the kids. I'm fortunate not being able to see my big kids though, apart from a few occasions when things opened up. But yeah, so if we can come to Dubai, anyone out there listening, you want to invite us over there when this is all over, pick up the phone Matt Glover, Blueprint Management, we'll be over.
Great stuff. Fantastic. We'll talk a bit more about that, I think, definitely, because I know that every time you've been here, it's been fantastic, and it's something that the fans here actually look forward to. So all that remains for me to do is thank you for speaking with us. We wish you, the family, and of course the Arsenal, all the very best for the coming year, and we hope to see you really soon.
Yeah, thank you, and the same to you too as well. And nice to chat to you. Listen, we will get over as soon as we can. We love playing over. We played over this several times. So the heat gets you a bit though, doesn't it? Wow.
It still does after all these years. Ladies and gents, the one, the only Tony Hadley. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much. Take care. Thank you.